Hey guys, welcome to episode 23 of Simple Ken. Yes, I am in Bangalore.
It's time for simple. It's time for simple. It's time for simple Ken. It's time for simple. It's time for simple. It's time for simple Ken.
It's been a while and I took a break because it was Christmas and I came to Bangalore. I also flew to Bombay to do a couple of writing stuff. So yeah, it's been quite a hectic month, but I got a lot of comments saying that, Kenny, you have to do one last episode before the year ends, man. Of course, man. 2020 is ending. It's cool because I started this long recording of me talking in February 2020, thinking 2020 is going to be a year of new things and promises and experiments. And damn, who knew this would turn into a pandemic podcast? So I'm really happy the year's getting over. And I'm recording this on 28th. And 31st December is my birthday, turning 30. It's a big day. I'm very relieved of how I'm reacting to it. For the longest time, I had a big problem turning older. But now I'm like, bring it on, bros. Bring it on. And I feel very calm and I feel very prepared. Please, nothing bad happen. But yeah, it feels great to turn 30. Man, I can't believe it. I remember turning 21. I don't remember turning 20, but I remember turning 21. Man, it's 9 years ago. Oof. Nice eagle and all is flying around. Yes, I will be very distracted in this episode. It's my favorite place. It's my home. So it's I'm really excited because on this camera is on a tripod that I'd bought. My dad actually bought for me when I was in the 11th or 12th. And I've shot so many videos on this tripod. Unfortunately, part of it broke, ironically, during Simple Ken shoot. But I still have it, man. So I get very happy to see that things that I had during the beginning of all of this is still there with me. It's very calming. So let's get to the questions. This is not a question. This is just like an observation by a listener. All the questions today are from Instagram, Simple Ken Podcast Instagram, because I found the YouTube questions to be very long. I read all of them, and most of them were like very sweet comments. I think there were very few questions. I think the Instagram has become very sorted, like only questions come there. And because of that, I noticed this comment which said, "Affectionately yours. It's like a library of questions, seriously. Glance through this page and you'll see it for yourself. People from different parts of the world asking the most unique questions with a customized touch of their own. Each one is going through their own dilemma or has an experience to share. Everyone is in search for an answer for something or the other. People who study the human mind and how it works might get so much out of here. What a wonderful platform you have thrown open to all of us." Yeah, I mean, I've also noticed that's what started happening in the comment section, where I think most of you are just venting, which is great, and like huge, like 7 paragraph questions, and you guys are responding to them and being like, yeah, I also feel the same shit, man. So it's great. I think it's become its own thing, and that's awesome that people can help each other. I saw another comment that said, I think the listeners of Simple Ken would all get along. Dude, that happens with my shows also. There are countless stories of people who have come to my shows and have met the person they would date. Yeah, you're welcome. But I know Simple Ken audience is a niche above that, where also, I don't know if it's truly reflective of the human mind, because you need to remind yourself that people who write down a comment or write down a question are being extremely open, and that's a very small minority of the audience. Most people don't comment. Most people don't share so much. So I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. It's just a very rare thing. So I applaud the people who are sharing, and me not noticing a comment means nothing. It's just maybe I found it too overwhelming, or I felt that you just needed to write it out and get clarity. So thank you, affectionately yours. There's a kitten here who's just staring at me. Again, these cats have been adopted by my dad, but these guys do not find it comfortable to be around me, but it's okay. Um, Soumya Mishra says, "Hey Kenny, big fan. I'm in school and I hate it. Everything is online now, so that's a relief, but it's gonna open. Just for the background, I hate school because I study in an ICSE all girls Catholic school. Holy shizness. Oh man, not only it's a girls' school, it's a Catholic school. Whew. The level of strictness is gonna be godlike. There's a lot of jealousy and fights, which are normal, fair. Not many people here support you for doing your thing, okay? Also, what are your thoughts on all girls and all boys schools? How does that make a difference in the personality development of an individual compared to co-education schools? I think in all girls, you given your opinion also. I think in all girls and all boys is a completely foolish concept. Can't do anything about it because I'm in class 11th and I have to complete schooling. I completely agree. It's insane and it's not natural. Men and women should be around each other, and this segregation thing is so backward. And even in colleges, I've done fests where the girls and the boys are separated. I'm like, are you guys insane? In India, there's no. I think Tanmay has a joke about this. That in India, when you're born, they never cut your umbilical cord because you're still connected to your parents. Like even teachers pretend to be your parents, which is a gross violation of boundaries. Like who are? I mean, I can keep saying this, nothing's going to change, but I find it insane that professors and principals of colleges behave like your parents. Like they don't teach you like adults; they teach you like children. So it's crazy when yeah, Swami, I completely agree. And also, this is the age when you feel things, you're maturing, you get frustrated that you don't have an outlet, and um, I think it's a normal phase when you get obsessed with the opposite gender or whatever gender you're attracted to. And if you don't go through that, you're just delaying it. So I don't know, once you finish school, you're going to college and that becomes the main focus. But if you're in school, you can just let out your system. Like, you know, you think she's cute, you like her, you have a crush on her, you get over it. By the time you're in college, you're more realistic and not obsessive. So yeah, I mean, what do you think will happen if you keep delaying normal things like male female attraction, male female interaction? Maybe this it's not even attraction, like guys and girls just have to be around each other to learn how to understand each other and not become a taboo for each other. So yeah, man, Soumya, I'm so glad, no matter how much I crib about Kendra Vidyalaya, at least it's not like a all boys and all girls school. That would have been just like the final nail in the coffin. You have to go through that shit, Soumya. And I know that there's this college in Bangalore, Carmel's, not college, school, no? Carmel's has a school also. And there's Joseph's school, and they're quite next to each other. So if they want to see boys or they want to see girls, they just go to the coffee day that's in between the two colleges, the schools, and they just mingle there. So I'm like, you can't control your children forever. Just, parent them. You don't have to control them. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to wait till I have kids and see how to deal with this. But yeah, man, you can't delay normal growth. You can't. You can't just. I feel bad for people who have not dated and they're like single till 28, 29, 30. And they don't have the luxury and the privilege and the amazing opportunity to date people and figure out what they want. Because everyone wants different things and no one's right and no one's wrong. And you never get to find it out. And you, unfortunately, if you're in India, you get pushed into a marriage. And that marriage ends, So it's not like I'm against marriage. I think marriage is a beautiful thing and you should get into it with someone you truly connect with. So it's so funny how the things they're trying to protect is what gets ruined. Like they don't want, by they I mean like parents or colleges or whatever. They don't want kids to mingle, so they don't ruin their relationships and eventually don't get married. But how will you get married if you never find the person? By dating them. So Romel Joseph says, I do have a question, but a quick comment first. When you spoke in one of the episodes about the fact that this is great time for content on the internet right now. I was watching that episode with a friend who was in fact exploring your content for the first time, and those were the exact words I used while recommending your channel. And now she's hooked. Well, thank you, Romel. Also, you were the first ever YouTube channel I subscribed to. Cray! Good choice, man. Question for any comedian: their writing would be heavily, if not exclusively, be influenced by other experiences. The classic example in your case being middle class restaurant problems. Damn, son, you made me deja vu to the time I cracked up the same way 5 years ago when I watched it. I like how we write. However, as comedians become more and more successful, their standard of living experiences are bound to change, to some minor extent at least. What are the things you do or have started doing to help you continue to be in tune with the relatable by your audience side of everyday observations? Like not being a middle class anymore, but still being able to write jokes prevalent to today's middle class. As an example, love you, brother. Great question. Great question. Common misconception that jokes can only be relatable and like literally relatable, right? That also, not every comedian becomes successful and they make millions of dollars, that they lose touch with reality. You're just watching YouTube. Stand-up comedy is not stand-up comedy in India. There are amazing comics, amazing open micers, rooms where they have never put a YouTube video, so you don't know they exist. Stand-up is not what you see on YouTube in India. Like, go to an open mic and see the scene. There are a lot of lovely peeps that have not been seen by the general public because it's more convenient to see it on YouTube. And very few have made a career out of this, and touch wood, it's lasted so far. It won't last for long, so things change, laws change. So, but yeah, so I think the classic example was, if you see Ellen DeGeneres stand up, her entire stand up was that she's rich and she doesn't get it, everyone's problems, and it was hilarious. Seinfeld has the same thing where none of his stuff is about being relative. Dave Chappelle did a joke about losing millions of dollars. Chris Rock did a joke about losing millions of dollars in a divorce. None of that is relatable, but it's still funny. It's a big misconception that to be funny, you have to be relatable to the everyday person. By that logic, no fantasy movie should work, right? Because you don't find anything relatable with a guy who can fly a dragon or a guy who whips a wand and kills a Dark Lord. But we do. So it's a concept of writing. Characteristics have to be relatable, not the literal subject. So no, there is no, like, I'm still middle class, by the way, like, even though, and I was making money before comedy. So when I made that video, it's not like I was peak middle class. I was wearing a blazer and I had like the best guitar. So that's not middle class behavior at all. So, but you can never forget your upbringing, right? So even if 10, 15 years from now, it's still who I am. And these are wonderful memories, and my parents are never going to change. And so, yeah, so my point is that when I made that video, I wasn't middle class and you found it funny. So even the jokes I make now I try to make the core concept relatable, which is what you guys like. So, I mean, an exaggerated example could be, I could have a story about dating a supermodel, but write it in such a way that you would find it relatable because you have obviously fallen in love with someone. So, cool question though, Romel. Writer's Closet says, amazing podcast. Whenever I see one of these Simpleton videos, I really go in deep thoughts on things you just talked about. Also notice that you have a bit mucosal congestion in your nose and throat. If it is so, hope you get well soon. Just a thanks-giving comment. It's very creepy. I actually have a dust allergy, so whenever there's dust mites and dust, I get it. But I get all these creepy comments like, Kenny, I saw a video today and I noticed you're tired. Take rest. Kenny, saw that you look sad. You look sad in this video. I'm not, guys. I think people are used to seeing well-produced content, high-budget content, where there's always a makeup person and there's a schedule, there's a director. This is all me, right? So I just took a shower, comb my hair, put a t-shirt on, and I'm recording. So obviously I'm not going to look fresh. And or what is your idea of me happy all the time? So I find it hilarious how people, I think, are trying to connect with me. So they try to say something very personal like, this video, I noticed you are not your usual self. Whatever's bothering you, take care. I think just take care is enough. This creepy thing is very. If I said that to you, it'll be very weird. No, like, hey, I just noticed that you're not yourself. Maybe you need to get back to what makes you happy again. Like, dude, you don't know me, creep. So thank you, Writer's Closet, for creeping me out. Just call me Dave. Hey Kenny, I'm a 21-year-old from Bangalore. Noise. I'm a huge fan of Indian stand-up, especially View and Kanan. Thank you. I would have been one of the earliest viewers of Indian English stand-up comics among my peers, and I feel like I grew up with the stand-up culture in India. That is so nice to know. Talking about it and sharing the journey of various comics amongst my friends has made me feel like I've been part of a revolution in Indian entertainment and feel like I contributed in a tiny way. Yes, you did. Thank you for all the different perspectives you guys bring and help me see the world through different lenses. Oh, watching Simple Ken has become my new favorite way of interacting with social media. It has gotten rid of the negativity, and I still get to enjoy and understand other people's opinions through a medium that's equally as entertaining and as perceptive. I think it's not just a long recording of you talking, but also feels like a very positive blog, Reddit page. Hey guys, you want to start a Reddit page on Simple Ken? Please do. In a weird way, as viewers of this series, we have become close without knowing about each other's existence. Yeah, I can feel that. It's really cool. Personally, empathize and connect with most of the comments that have been shared. That's also why I pick these questions, because I try to pick something that will be relatable to everyone. The long recordings feel more real and honest because, unlike most other podcasts, which are between famous people talking about how to conquer the world, for a change, someone is talking about the little simple things of life. Yeah, that's true. Nothing against those podcasts. I love watching two famous people talk to each other. You learn something from everyone. It has been a great counter to the lockdown and an even better conversation starter. Thank you for the mostly one-sided conversation I look forward to every time I sip my cup of chai. Lots of love, Rahul Dev. What a sweetheart. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for just such a sweet fellow here. Sweet chap. What a smile to my face. Ayo. Yeah. It's nice. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but it's true. It's brought me very close to you guys as well. It is a one-sided conversation, but it's so freeing, man, to not have the facade of being like, funny jokes. And I mean, it was my idea to do this. I mean, to do stand-up comedy and jokes, but it becomes weird when your job becomes your personality. It's nice that I can show this side as well, and it's been received so well. Anyway, so Miss Swatika Krishna says, "Hey Kenny, thank you for all the long recordings of you talking. Kept me sane through this whole week. One question I have is that you seem to have a metaphorical assessment for all questions or topics, which makes it very clear and interesting, like a different perspective. How are you able to compare situations in the form of metaphors? Is it solely through experience, or is it a conscious thing? It makes you like a cool professor who can explain complex concepts in a simple way." That's a nice question. You know, this is kind of how my dad talks to me. I mean, my dad uses a lot of metaphors, and it just makes everything so much simpler. And I think my dad always, from a young age, forced me to answer the questions I ask myself just by giving it a minute. So, and I think using a metaphor and personifying things are how I understand the world, which also ends up in my stand-up, right? I think when you break down things into visual situations, it's also a memory hack, right? Where you can't memorize stuff, but you can remember visual scenes. So, for example, if you have to remember that in 1887, King Julian conquered the Red Castle. Okay, and you have to remember this. So a simple memory hack is it's 1887. I'm not going to remember 18 because it sounds like a long time ago. So 87. So I'm going to see an 87-year-old king And Julian, for example, from Madagascar. Imagine an old King Julian, and he's wearing a crown. So it's old 87-year-old King Julian. And he looks at his hand is red. He looks up and there's a wall which is red. He looks up and there's a red castle. So 1887 King Julian captured the red castle. So that's a visual, because your brain is dedicated for visual information. So metaphors are also very helpful in explaining a very complex topic. I remember, I think I brought this up before. The best metaphor ever was for fusion. And our teacher said to remember fusion and fission. That when you take globules of laddu and you squeeze them together, some globules escape. That's energy. So fusion energy is taken out and fission energy is absorbed. Such a beautiful metaphor, dude. Laddu, I love, forget it. So it was nice to use metaphors and it helps. But you have to be careful because I went to this bank, I went to State Bank of India, and just the worst. Just the worst service. And they were not letting me withdraw my own money for a payment. They said I have to go to the home branch. And I'm like, wait, so if I was in a different city, I won't be able to do this? He's like, yeah, you can't do this. I said, but it's my money and I'm here. And he said, see, this is not home branch. Let me give you an example. In your house, you can do anything you want, right? But in your neighbor's house, you can't. I'm like, does he think I'm mentally insane? So sometimes metaphors seem like you're talking down to people, but people can read your intention. And that fellow was just a piece of shit. Anyway, I'll end this episode on State Bank of India manager being a piece of shit. But there was another State Bank of India manager who was lovely. That's the problem with that bank, is just the service is so different from branch to branch. And there's no other industry which is like that. Like, it's like if I went to KFC one day, and then KFC, and I went to another KFC, and they were like, hey, by the way, there's no chicken in this KFC, and you can't have any chicken. I'm like, what is going on? No consistency. Anyway, guys, that brings me to the end of this 23rd episode of Simple Ken. I'm going to be 30 in a couple of days, and I'm very excited. Not planned anything though because of COVID, and I'm with my parents, so got to be careful. But I was planning to do like a costume based party, but that didn't happen. And I was like, man, I've never had a costume party for my birthday, so I'm gonna do it once COVID is done, which is in 17 years. But yeah, guys, please don't forget to wish me on my birthday. You can wish me on this video. And on Instagram, you can send me your questions. Lovely questions this week as well. You guys are just acing it. And thank you for being such a non-toxic and sweet and loving community. And please, if you notice some idiot in the comment section or in our family just doing shit, just kick them out. I know we're supposed to be inclusive, but let's be a little danger once in a while. Hope you have a lovely new year. Man, I really hope 2021 is a good year. And yeah, guys, you can listen to this on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. Is already on your phone. So it's super easy. Audio listeners, shout out to you. You'll probably listen to this before the video comes out. So yeah, guys, I think I'm just extending the ending. It's tea time soon. I need to go have my chai. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Hope you had a wonderful week and month ahead. I'll be there for you guys in the next episode. Looking forward to your questions. Tata, bye bye.